Yesterday, I met a woman at Barnes& and Noble that I thought might have been flirting with me, and her coworker told me that she's single. I didn't even ask, she just told me, which made me think that the girl I was talking to must have said something to her. So I went back today to Barnes& and Noble, and I didn't plan on asking her out. I didn't even know if she would be there. I just went to read some books to my 2-year-old cousin. I was hoping she would be there, but I didn't have any big plans to track her down and confess my love to her. But she was there, and we did end up talking for a while, and I asked her if she wanted to have dinner with me. Which, again, I wasn't planning to ask her out, but I felt like she was giving me a clear opening, so I took it. Just to catch everybody up to speed, I'm on a trip right now with my mom and my baby cousin. We're going home tomorrow, actually. So, for those that don't know, I am a 37-year-old loser that lives with my mom. I have been unemployed for years now, although I did have a small stint at a car wash, and now I actually earn some money from YouTube, so I guess technically I'm not unemployed anymore. But the point is, I don't get out much. I've always been a social outcast. I've never been intimate with a woman, and I have severe social anxiety. So, the main reason I decided to go on this trip when my mom invited me is because basically I'm trying to touch grass. I figured, maybe it'd be good for me to get away from my comfort zone and stop being chronically online for even just a few days. Also, I'm the only male figure my little cousin has in his life, so I don't want him to see me just rotting away in my room all day, every day, because he's getting to the age now where he copies everything I say and everything I do. He's learning about life from me, whether I like it or not. So that's probably my biggest motivation to, I guess, try to put myself out there a little more. So today was the last day of the trip. We're leaving tomorrow. I don't know if I mentioned this yet, but the whole point of this trip was just to take my cousin to the aquarium and also for my mom to visit her friend that lives here. So we went to the aquarium on the first day, and then yesterday my mom was spending all day with her friend while I watched my cousin. Then today my mom was with her friend again for most of the day. They went shopping. So I was watching the little guy again. It was a pretty uneventful day up until we went to Barnes& and Noble. We just stayed at the hotel pretty much. Then around noon or 1 o'clock, something like that, I put my cousin in the car and we went back to Barnes& and Noble. So it was similar to yesterday. I just went and picked out some books to read. But this time I went and sat at the cafe instead of the little bench they had in the back because I wanted to be in a more visible location in case Jessica was there. That's the girl I met there yesterday. So I sat in the cafe because it's right in the front of the store, and the seating is better. I was actually sitting on a couch this time instead of a hard bench that doesn't even have a back. But mostly I just wanted to make sure Jessica would notice me if she was there. And it worked. After I finished reading the first book I had with my cousin, I saw Jessica, and I mean, right from the start, I felt like I was in a movie or something, like a romantic comedy, because it was like, I looked up and she was there across the store, already walking toward me, and she had this big smile on her face. And I thought she was attractive last time I saw her, but today she was like twice as attractive. She was wearing a dress, which, sometimes I wonder, do women understand how much better they look in a dress compared to literally anything else? I don't understand why women wear pants so much. They should just always wear dresses. But, anyways, she walked over to where I was sitting, big smile on her face, looking good, and she was like, "Hey, it's you guys again." So I was like, "Yep, we're back. He loves books." So then we talked for a couple minutes, maybe. I did tell her it was my last day in town. I remember that. And then, tell me this isn't the biggest green light you've ever seen. She said she was about to go on break, and she was like, I'm actually about to go on break. I'll come sit with you. So at that point, I'm thinking, like, holy shit, she must be into me. Like, she sees me and she's just immediately going to go on break and come sit with me. That's got to be a clear sign, right? If that's not an indicator of interest, then I don't know what is. So she went over to the register area, I guess to clock out or whatever. And at that point, I started getting really freaking nervous because it was starting to feel like, there's actually something happening here. This is actually an opportunity for me. I just felt like my heart was pounding before she even made it back over to where I was sitting. I really didn't want to screw this up. So she came over and sat in a chair across from us, and it kind of felt like a date because she was asking me all the questions like, what do you do? What do you like to do for fun? I just told her I'm a freelance video editor. Obviously, I wasn't going to tell her about my channel. But the whole time, I'm just trying to think like, how do I progress this? Do I ask for her number? Would she give me her number, knowing that I live like 5 hours away? Like, I'm just sitting there racking my brain trying to come up with something. I mean, basically, I was just trying to work up the courage because deep down, I knew what I really needed to do was just ask for her number. But then she actually made it easy for me. Or I didn't get her number exactly, but at some point she asked me more about my job as a freelance video editor, because that's what I told her I do. I mean, it's not that far off, actually. But yeah, anyway, so she was asking me what kind of videos I work on, and I just said, I edit videos for YouTubers, and I said I just do whatever they ask for, depending what the video is. I work on different kinds of videos. So then she said she's tried making a YouTube channel before, and nobody watched her videos. Then she said she likes Instagram better, and she sometimes posts videos on there. So I thought, oh, that's perfect. That gives me a good reason to ask for her Instagram. She's already talking about it, so, perfect. So I asked her what her Instagram handle is, but I guess I didn't really think it through because I don't actually have Instagram, or I don't have a personal Instagram. I do have an account that I use just for research for this channel, but I couldn't even remember off the top of my head if I put anything on there referencing loser maxing or any BP related stuff. So when I asked her for her Instagram, she was like, oh, just tell me yours and I'll follow you, then you can follow me back. So I was like, I don't have Instagram. So she asked me, what's the point of getting her Instagram if I don't even have Instagram? Which is a good point. So I am well aware this probably made me look like a very pathetic loser, but I just said, well, I could make one, as in I could make an Instagram. And as soon as I said that, I realized just how desperate that sounds. Like, I'm going to make an Instagram account just to add her on there. But she actually didn't act like I said anything too weird. She was just like, oh, okay. And then she told me her username. Okay, so at that point, I had a way to contact her. I kind of felt the pressure was off a bit. And I know it's not really the same as getting her number. Like, looking at it now after the fact, the way I got her Instagram, it wasn't like I wasn't making my intentions clear the same way I would be if I was just like, hey, let me get your number. But in the moment, this was probably just an anxiety response with me rationalizing it like, okay, I did it. I can relax. When really I didn't actually do too much. But, I got her Instagram, so that is something. It's not nothing. So I did feel more relaxed after that, especially because she didn't make me feel weird about it. I was all desperate in the way I was like, I'll make an Instagram account just for you. But she didn't make me feel weird about it. So I took that as a good sign. I mean, I did actually ask her out not that long after that, but I'm about to get to that in just a second. So, in general, the whole time we're sitting there talking, I would say she was being very friendly. I wasn't really picking up on flirtatious vibes. And her body language, again, seemed very closed off. Like she had her legs crossed and kind of pointed not in my direction. And she was checking her phone a lot. So I don't know. It was kind of mixed signals, I guess. But at some point, my cousin carried a book over to her and he was like, read book. So she read him a book. She read it to him twice. And it was actually really nice having the little guy there because there was never a lull in the conversation because he's always doing something or, he's trying to get my attention or trying to get her attention. So I think him being there both today and yesterday probably helped make me more socially normal. And that was good. But yeah, here's the moment you're all waiting for. How did I ask this woman out? And how did she respond? So, just out of the blue, she asked me if I had tried any local restaurants. So, I told her about the places we had tried so far. And then she started telling me about this one place that she really likes. And it was almost like she was trying to get me to ask her out because she told me about this restaurant and she was like, it's so good. I actually haven't been there in a while. I need to go back soon. So I felt like that was a clear signal. And I did pick up on it in the moment, but I actually let the moment pass at first. I just paused for a couple seconds and I was just like, yeah, maybe I'll check it out. Then she wasn't really saying anything and she started looking at her phone. So I'm thinking, damn it, I just fucked it up, didn't I? Because you got to understand, the way I am, I know most of y'all listening to this right now, you're thinking, why did he not simply ask her out when he picked up on the fact that she was trying to get him to ask her out? Well, if you don't have crippling social anxiety like I do, then you're just not going to understand how it is for me. I just freeze in these situations. So that's pretty much what happened at first. I just froze. But then, I don't know, I just kind of pushed through and I was like, well, imagine the restaurant she mentioned was Red Lobster. Obviously, it wasn't Red Lobster, but just for the sake of the video, let's say it was. So she was looking at her phone and I just said, do you want to go to Red Lobster with me tonight? And immediately she started looking kind of nervous. Like she was blushing, her face turned red, and she was like, what? So I asked again, do you want to go to Red Lobster with me tonight? Then it was like, I could tell she looked surprised. So I guess she wasn't trying to get me to ask her out. Because if you saw her reaction, it was pretty obvious that she was actually surprised I asked her out. And so she just goes, I'm sorry, but I'm actually not looking to date anyone right now. Like she did this exaggerated, sad face, and she just looked really uncomfortable about it. Like her face was completely red. So yeah, she was like, I'm so sorry. I'm actually not looking to date right now. Sad face. Classic excuse. Everyone knows what that means. It means she's not interested in dating me specifically. If I was a guy she found attractive, then I guarantee she would have been jumping with joy. But I'm not good looking, so I got rejected. I mean, she was nice about it, I guess, but here's the thing. Okay, so that was actually pretty much right at the end of her break. It was really awkward, as I'm sure you can imagine, because all she said was the thing about, sorry, I'm not looking to date anyone right now. Then she just kind of sat there looking at her phone for a minute while I'm just sitting there feeling utterly humiliated. Say what you want, I get that it's not the end of the world, but I put myself out there, something that I pretty much never do, and I got rejected. And it felt really fucking bad. It feels really bad right now, just thinking about it. And yeah, she was just sitting there across from me, just looking at her phone, probably just pretending to be looking at something so she can think of how to get the fuck away from me as soon as possible. So then after a minute, she just stands up and she's like, "Well, I got to get back to work now. It was nice talking to you again." So then I kind of screwed myself because I had already been telling my cousin since before we went there that I would buy him a new book. So I had to do it because that's something I'm never going to do under any circumstance is go back on my word to him. If I tell him I'm going to do something, then I do it. So now I had to go buy this book before I can leave. And Jessica was the one working the register, of course. So I was going to have to interact with her again right after she just rejected me and ran away, basically. And that's where this whole thing just gets even more brutal because I got up and I put away all the books that we had got out. And then I found the book that I wanted to buy. So then I started walking over toward the register, and Jessica looked up and she saw me, and she just like, she immediately got the other workers' attention because there was another girl there at the cash registers. So Jessica looked up, she saw me coming, then she kind of touched her coworker on the shoulder and said something, and then she just walked away really fast toward the back of the store. So basically, she was avoiding me, which I guess in a way was kind of a relief, but also it made me feel like shit because there we were hanging out, basically on a date, pretty much, which she initiated all of that. She's the one that came up to me and she's the one that said, "Hey, I'll go on break and I'll come sit with you." And then she's the one that started talking about restaurants. And she was all like, "I need to go back to this certain restaurant soon. Wink, wink, hint, hint." Or that's how I interpreted it. That's how I think anybody would interpret that. It seemed like a pretty clear hint to me, but I was wrong, I guess, because she looked very uncomfortable after I asked her out. Then here's the other thing. I got her Instagram, right? So I'm thinking, I mean, you already know, I was definitely going to make use of that Instagram for my own viewing pleasure in combination with my vivid imagination later on in the shower. Any of you would do the same. If you say you wouldn't, then you're lying. But I can't even do that. Because right when I got back to the hotel, I looked her up and I found her Instagram and it was there. It was a public profile. I was able to see all of her pictures and everything without having to follow her. By the way, I was right about her being autistic because that's like half of her profile is her making autism her whole personality. But anyways, later on, like actually right before I started recording this, so this was only a few minutes ago, I tried to look at her Instagram again, and now it's private. So I would have to follow her to see it. So, I kind of doubt that's just a coincidence. Like she just so happened to decide to make her profile private right after this sub-5 bald man tried to ask her out. So, that doesn't feel good. For a woman to make her Instagram profile private just because I know about it, that doesn't feel good. But, the worst part to me now, all I had to use for my shower was the tiny little profile picture that's like 5 pixels. Because I can still see that, but yeah, I don't know if she just wanted attention. That's what I'm thinking it was, because I'm pretty sure she was giving me signals. And here's the worst part. I could tell she's definitely the type of person to post on man-hating subreddits. I mean, she's autistic, so it's pretty much guaranteed she uses Reddit. Or maybe she'd make an Instagram post about it. But all I'm saying is, I can just tell she's probably going to come away from this thinking like, ugh, you can't even be nice to a man without him thinking you're coming on to him. Because I see shit like that online all the time. And this is probably how it happens 90% of the time. A woman is literally giving a guy signals, exploiting a guy for her own selfish desire for attention, and then when the guy actually makes a move, all of a sudden she's like, huh? Like the surprise Pikachu meme, just like, huh? What? Huh? Ugh, men are such pigs. You can't even be nice to men. Like, you can and should be nice to men. You should just be nice to everybody as long as they're nice to you. And sure, sometimes guys are going to misread the signals, or they're just going to ask you out regardless whether you give them signals or not, because, we don't want to be lonely. So even that's fine. But this woman, I mean, tell me if I'm wrong, but I was picking up on some clear signals today and yesterday. So she's giving me these signals, and then after that, she wants to act surprised like I just made a huge faux pas by asking her out. I just don't get it. I really can't understand craving attention that much that you would lead someone on just to reject them when they obviously try to capitalize on the choosing signals that you are putting out there. That's all I have to say about that. I'm going back home tomorrow. By the way, by the time you're watching this video, like I keep saying yesterday and today when I'm describing these events, but by the time you're hearing this, it's probably already been like 2 or 3 days at least, because there's no way I'm going to have time to edit this and think of a title and make a thumbnail and everything when I'm going to be on the road for probably 6 to 7 hours tomorrow. So yeah, if you found this entertaining, please consider watching some of my other videos. There's also some secret videos you can watch for free on my Patreon, videos YouTube does not want you to see, and there's no sign up required. You can just watch the videos, so check that out. We also have a private Discord for Patreon supporters, so that's there if you're interested. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.